Hello, this is number 3 in my Fog of War series that I'm making. This one teaches you how to do region sums, which are these blue lines here. And the way they work is that the sum of the numbers in the cells up to these the regions are these 3x3 squares. So the 3 blue cells on that side of the region must add up to the 2 blue cells on this side. Over here, those 2 cells must add to these 2 cells. So any blue line that crosses through one of these darker region lines, the sum of the cells on either side have to be the same amount. The other rules in here: normal black dots separate cells with a ratio 1:2. We've done that one before, so these cells here have to be either a 2:4 or a 3:6 or a 4:8 pair, for example, in any ratio of 1:2. White dots separate consecutive numbers. Now that's a different one we haven't used yet, but anything with a white dot, if there's no number in it, it means that they differ by 1. If there's a number, you can have a 2 or a 3 or something in there, and that would mean that those 2 numbers would differ by 2 or 3. But if there's no number in there, it just means they differ by 1, which means they're consecutive numbers. Not all black dots and white dots are shown in this Sudoku, so you can't use the negative constraint for this one. Line sums to the same amount on either side of the 3x3 boxes. That was the rule I just explained. Numbers on diagonals sum to the numbers shown outside the grid. Oh, that's another new one that I've included in here. These numbers out here, which with the arrow that points to that diagonal, those 2 diagonals have to sum to 11, those 2 have to sum to 9, those 2 have to sum to 4, and those 3 would have to sum to 13. What else do we have? Numbers in cages sum to the number in the top corner of the cage. Done that before. So they're the only rules. So it's a relatively simple one. If you'd like to pause the video and have a go at it yourself, there's a link in the description below. And I'm going to do it for you now in case you have any problems. So where to start? Well, this one has to be 11, and that there, those 3 there have to be 13, but these 2 have to be 11 to add up to those 2. That tells me that that one has to be a 2 straight off the bat. Now those ones then, because that's a 2:1 ratio, that can only be a 1 or a 4. We don't know what yet. Now look at this little one here, the 4 in that corner there. Now 2 things that add up to 4 can only be 2:2, which you couldn't have, or 1:3. So that has to be a 1:3 pair, and that one there can only be a 1 or a 4, so that's got to be the 1, and that's got to be the 3. And when we get the right answers, the fog's revealed as usual. Now these 2 here, what can we have? Now anything that's got a ratio of 1:2, we can have 1, whoops, I always click on the wrong thing. We can have 1, 2, a 3, a 4. We can't have a 5, because the 5 ratio of 1:2 will be 10. We can have a 6 and an 8, and 7 and 9 don't have a ratio of 1:2. So I've left the red markers on once again, just for ease of doing the puzzle. And they are the conflicting ones. Obviously you can't have 1, 2, 3 in there. What can we have here now? Is there anything else I can figure out? They have to add to 13, so we could have 2 and 4 is 6, and that would have to be possibly a 7, or 2 and 6 is 8, and 5, or 2 and 8 is 10, and 3, we can't have a 3, so that's the only possible ones for that one. Now I think there's too many possibilities here to even think about. We've got 6, 5, 7, 4, 8, 3, 9, 2, and you can't eliminate much, so I'll leave that for now and we'll come over and work on this bit. Now what can we have here? We can have, once again, we can have the same things in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8 can go next to a black dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. Not a 2. Oops, not a 2. Now, the interesting thing with this one is these 2 have to add up to these 3. But this cage here tells us that it's already 11 there. So these 2 have to be at least 11 plus this one. So they have to be at least 12. So 1 and something you can't get to be at least 12. 3 and you could have 3 and 9, but because there's a white dot there, they have to be consecutive numbers. So that would have to be a 2 or a 4 if that was a 3, and that's not going to be big enough to add up to 11. By the same token, 4, 5 or 4, 3 wouldn't be big enough, so that can't be a 4. 6, 7 was 13, that would be big enough. So if that was a 6, we'll just put them in up here, that could be a 7, 5 wouldn't be big enough. But 13, and that would have to be 11, and that would have to be a 2. And the problem is a 6, 2 isn't a 1 to 2 relationship. If that was a 6, that would have to be a 3. So that can't be a 6 either, which means that has to be an 8. And yes, it's correct because it's opened up the grid. And if that's an 8, the only possible 1 to 2 ratio with an 8 is a 4. Whoops, here's that one. That's got to be a 4 now. Now this has to either be a 6, sorry, not a 6, a 7 or a 9 in there next to the 8. And that has to be a 3 or a 5 next to the 4. And maybe we can get this to add up, can we, at this stage? 8 and 7 is 15. 11 and 4 is 15, so that works. 8 and 9 is 17, so that's not going to work, is it? So it's got to be the 7 in there. And then these could be anything at this stage. 5, 6, can't be 7, 4, but it could be 8, 3 or 9, 2. So I'll just leave them for a minute until we get some other things. Here we got another black dot. We'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. And just eliminate the ones that are already there. 3, 8. Now, this here has to add to 11. So that could be a 2 and a 9. It could be a 3. Can't be a 3 and an 8 because there's an 8 there. So that's not a 3. 4, 7. It can't be a 7. We've already got a 7 in this box. It can't be a 4. It could be a 6 and a 5. So now that will eliminate some of these. That can't be a 2. So 2 can go with a 1 or a 4. A 6 can only go with a 3. So that means that can't be a 6. Because there's a 3 there, the 3 was eliminated. So that is only a 2. And then that one has to be a 1 or a 4. 2, 6. And we can't tell what that is just yet. Now this one here. I'll put all the numbers in, but it obviously, you think it has to be a 3, 6 because we've got a 4. We've got the 4, 8 and the 2, 1, 4. The only thing left is a 3, 6, but I'll just put all the possibilities in to make sure. 1, 2, 8 can't be. 2, 3, 8 can't be. So that can't be a 1 because there's no 2 there. And the 4 doesn't go with anything. And we're left with a 3, 6. And the 3 has to go there because the 3 is down there. There we go. And that tells us that one there is a 5 next to the 4. So that's opened up the puzzle a little bit. It's also helped with this one here. We now can't have a 2, 9 in there. And we can't have a 5, 6 in there because of that 5. So that tells us this has to be a 3, 8 pair. Can't have a 7, 4 because of that 7. Okay, so what now? That we can't tell what that is yet. We can put some numbers in here. That's got to be. There's going to be quite a few possibilities in there, though, isn't there? We'll put them in and see. 1. We've got a 2. We've got a 3. We could have a 4. Oops, I'm putting there. We could have a 4. We could have a. I'll get rid of the red ones in a minute. We could have a 5. There's a 6, 7, 8. Or we could have a 9. Oh, there's not that many possibilities. Especially once we get rid of the 1, 4 because of that 1 and that 4. That helps. 1, 4, 5. Now that will give us a bit of an idea of this one up here. 2, 9, 1. Oh, actually, even better. There's a 5, 9 pair there. That can't be a 9. So we've got a 5, 9 pair and a 1, 4 pair. So up here we can only have 2, 5, 1, which is 6 and 1, 7. And that would have to be a 2, that's a possibility. We could have 5 and 2, 7, and 4 is 9. That would have to be a 5 and a 4, so that's not a possibility. 2 and 9, and 1 is 12. That would have to be a 7. Yes, that would work. 2, 9 and 4 is 6 and 9 is 15. That would have to be a 10, so that doesn't work. So did that eliminate the 4? 2, 5, 4 didn't work, did it? 2 and 5, 7, and 4 is 11. Oh, did I do that before? 2, 5, 7, and 4 is 11, so that would be a 6. I don't think I did that one, did I? No, I didn't write it down. If I did, 2, 5, 1 was 6, 7, 8. I think I've mucked that up. Why did I put a 2 there? That should have been a 3, I think. 7 and 1's 8. That should have been a 5 and a 3, not a 2. 2, 5, 1, 3. That's right. And then 2, 5, 4 is 9, 11. That makes the 6. And then 2, 9, 1 is 12, which is a 7. And 2, 9, 4 I think didn't work, did it? Okay, so we've still got 3 possibilities there. Now, it can't be a 3. We've got a 3, 8 pair there, so the 3 doesn't work. So that can only be a 6 or a 7. 7 and 5 is 12, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that works. Okay. So now where do we go from there? I guess we put this one in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. See what that gives us. So can't have a 4 there, can't have a 2 or an 8. There's no 2 there, so that can't be a 1. 6, 3, 6, 3, 8, 4, 2, 1. They all seem to work at this point. What about these ones now? 6. Did we get anything there? Not really much eliminated there. The 8, 3. Oh, the 8, 3 is eliminated. The 9, 2 can still go 9, 2 that way. I might put the options in and see. 9, 2. We can't do the 8. Can we do the 8, 3? We don't know for sure that the 8's there. Oh, no, we can't because there's 2 3's there. So 9, 2, 8, 3 can't work. 7, 4 can still work. Yes, I think so. 7, 4 can still work. Oh, hang on, I just realised something. That there can't be a 6 because there's no 3. So that's got to be a 4, 8 pair, which means the 4, 7 doesn't work that way. That might change what we got here too. Check that in a minute. I'm getting distracted. So that could be also be a 6, 5, which would have to go that way with a 6 there and a 5 there because of that 6. So I think they're the only options for there. So what can we have here now? 4 and 5 is 9. So those two would have to add up to 9. So it could be 7, 2. 4 and 5 is 11, which could be 6, 5. 8 and 5 is 13. Could be 9, 4. Yeah, the 8, 15. The 8, 7 looks like the only combination that can't work there. So we'll have to leave those there for now. Alright, these have to add up to 21. So what could we have in here? If that was a 7, 7 from 21 is 14. We have 9, 5, so we should have to go 9, 5. Or 8, 6, which would have to go 8, 6. Well, I'll put them in. So there we go, 9, 5, or 8, 6. That's if it's a 7. If it's a 6, 6 and 21 is 15. It'd have to be 9, 6, which would be, I've already got that combination, or 8 and 7, which would have to go, it could go either way, couldn't it? Oh, no, we can't have an 8 there. What am I talking about? Because we've got 2 8s there. So that 8, what did I have there before? 14, 8 and 6 doesn't work, actually. We can't have an 8, 7. So that has to be, does that have to be a 9, 5? I think that's all that will go there. If that was a 6, I'd say 15. Is 9, 9, 6 I had, not 9, 5. I think I've mucked them up. Let's try that again. So if that's a 7, it's going to be 14, which can be 14 can be 9 and 5. It can't be 8 and 6 at all. And it can't be 8 and 6 that way because of that 6. That's the only thing, you can't have 2 7s. That's all that adds to 14. Alright, so the only things that add to 15 are 9 and 6. And they would have to go that way. So that could be a 6. Or 8 and 7, which we can't have because of that. Oh, hang on, I could have the 8, 7 that way. If that, yeah, that's possible actually. I could have the 8 there and the 7 there. That's a bit confusing, isn't it? That gives us too many possibilities here. What have I missed? I've missed something obvious, I think. Oh, I know what I've missed. Look at this. The 2 9 adds to the 11. That gives us, that's a 9 and that's a 5. And so that has to be 7. And one's 8. And 3, which doesn't work, or 4, so that's got to be a 4. 7, if it was 11, 5, and that's got to be a 6. Oh, that was so much easier, wasn't it? Why didn't I see that before? That has to be a 1. That's not a 4. That's not a 6. So now with the 6 from 21, they can only add up to 15, so we can't have 9, 5 at all. We can have 7, 8, or 9, 6. And we can't have 9, 6 because of that 6, so that has to be 8, 7. Well, that made things much easier, didn't it? If I actually look at the clues that we're given, that might help. And that's not an 8. Okay. So now what do we have here that works? 2, 1 works and 3, 6 still works. So we can't resolve that one yet, sadly. But that has helped considerably. Oh, and we've got another clue up here. And now we know these 3 in this box too. We'll put those in. So that can be a 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5, or a 9. And oh, that worked out nicely. The 9 can only go there. Leaves a 1, 2. So those 2 have to add up to something in here. Now obviously you can't go, 1 and 2 only add up to 3, don't they? So that box would have to be a 3. Can't go further than that. That tells us that one's a 6, and this one resolves into a 2, 1. Beautifully. Now 10, they add up to 10. These 3 have to add up to 10. So those 2 have to add up to 9. So that can't be 4, 5. Can't be 6, 3, 6 that way and 3 that way. It could be. That could be a 3. That could be a 6. What did I say? 9, 7, 2. It could, no, there's a 2 there and a 2 there. It can't be 7, 2. And 8, 1. There's a 1 there and a 1 there. No, so that has to be a 3 and a 6. Any possibilities there? Get rid of that 6, and that means what did they have to add up to 11? So that one gets rid of that 5. So we've only got 7, 4, 9, 2 possibilities there now. Now what? That number there would have to be a 7, 9. It's the only thing missing from that row. That one. I might just put these ones in. We can have got a 1, we can have a 2, got a 3, a 4, a 5, 7, and an 8 we can have in there. 2, 4, 5, because there's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unknowns. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Now I've got a 4, 8 pair, so that can't be a 4 or an 8. It's not a 2 according to that, because there's a 2 up there obviously. Now we've got a 5, 7 pair here. That tells us that they're not 5, 7. And that one's not 2, 8, which leaves a 4. That was nicely worked out. And there's an 8. And now that means that has to be a 9 to go with the 11 in there. So we can still have well, no, actually, what can we have for 11? These 2 have to add up to 11. It's got to be 4, 7's the only thing left to add up to 11. So that has to be a 4, and that has to be a 7. That's the 8, and that's the 7. Let's resolve those ones. Now this one up here, 5 and 1, 6, 7, 8, those two have to add up to 8. So they can be, start with 7, that can be 7, 1, can't be 7, 1 that way because there's a 1 there. 6, 2, no, because there's a 2 there. 5, 3, no, there's a 5 there. And that's all you can get. It adds up to 8, so that has to be 7 and a 1. And revealing more and more blue things as we go. Put these 3 numbers in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 9. That's the only spot for the 9 because there's a 6, 3 there, 3 there, 6 there. Now let's add these on top. That's 12, 6, so those two have to add up to 6. There can't be a 5, 1 because there's a 1 there. The only other option is 4, 2 because you can't have 2 3s in the one box. So 4, 2, there's a 4 there, so the 4 has to go there, and the 2 there. And we'll put these missing ones in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. And that's 1, 5, 9 there. And there's already a 1, 5 there. It's a 9. And can't resolve that one just yet. We can get, however, the last one in this box. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be a 5. And in this box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a 6 and a 9, isn't it? So that's the 6 there, and that's the 9 there. And this one got resolved then as well. Moving up to this one. These two are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 pair. Can't tell where they go yet. These ones are 1, 2, we need a 3, 4, 5, and an 8. Get rid of the 5, get rid of the 3 and the 8. Now this one can help us with those. 4 and 1's 5, so that can't be right, it's got to be a 7. And then these two, there's a 4. These two then have to add up to 8, so they have to be 5 and 3, which has to be that one and that one. And then that leaves us with an 8 there. And slowly working our way up. Now, if you just fill in all these columns here, hopefully it'll just all resolve itself. 1, 2, we've got a 3, a 4, and a 6 in there. In that column, this column we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In this one we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 missing. In this one 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's only got 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9 looks like. This one's only got 3 missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think. Yep. Now that little thing there might help us if I remember to use it this time. So that's add up to 9. So that's got to either be a 5, a 4, or a 3. Haha. So it's a 3, which means that one has to be a 6. And that's not a 6, and not a 6. And that's not a 6. That's not a 6. Not a 3, and not a 3. Now what? I better put these ones in, I guess, as well. I don't have to do them now, I suppose. We've got a 3 there and a 3 there, so that means just by normal Sudoku, that one has to be a 3 there. 9, 8 there means those two have to be a 9, 8. That's not a 7. That means that's a 7. And that's not a 7. Can 6 tell us anything? No, can't get rid of any 6s. What else do we have up there? 4. This 4, there's a 4 here or here, and here or here. So we need a 4 in this middle row, and it can't go there because we've already got a 4 in that box and a 4 in that box. So it has to go here in the middle row. So that's a 4. Get rid of that 4 and that 4. I could try adding these up, or these ones, or this one here. 3, those 3 have to add up to 9, so 3 and 4 is 7, so that could be a 2, 3 and 5 is 8, or a 1. That gives us a 1, 2 pair, which gives, what's missing there, a 7 in that row. And that's not a 7. Now this column here could be, we've got 1, 2, has to go somewhere, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks a bit messy, doesn't it? Can we tell? Well, we can tell that the 8, 9 doesn't go there because that would be 17, and you can't get 17 on these two then. So one of the 8, 9s has to go there. So that means that's not a 1 or a 2. I can't tell what goes where just yet. With that, what else do we have? There's an 8, 9 pair there now, so that's a 6. And that's an 8. That's a 4. That's a 6. 7. 5. It resolves all these 4s out. 8, not a 5. This line up here now, 8 and 2's 10, that would have to be a 3, so that can't be a 2, that's got to be a 1. 8 and 1's 9, 7 and 2, that has to be. Then that gives us a 1 there, a 2 there, 5, 9, 9. This is all just going to fall out into place nicely. I think maybe 8, 9. That didn't fall out nicely. Oh yeah, because this one adds up to the same, so that has to be the 2. Oops, that's a funny looking 2. That has to be a 2, and that here is the 1, 2, and 1, and done. There we go. So I hope you didn't find that too difficult, and that was a good introduction to learning how these line sums work. And I'll hope you come back for another one. See you next time.